Hey guys, it's Emmy. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial for you guys. This is what I do when I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I know I want to do something cool. I always put a headband on because I feel like it gets in the way. I don't like having my hair in my face, and this one is just so fun, so cute. I always like to put on moisturizer first just because my skin is dry AF. So I just feel like it makes it easier for the makeup to go on. I feel like primer is so hit or miss with me because sometimes it works and sometimes it makes my makeup clump. So I don't know, it just depends on the seriousness of the look, really. Okay, next I put on a little foundation. I use the Prada foundation. Prada gifted me this like a couple months ago. I actually really love it, and I'm kind of dreading when it runs out just because I don't want to have to buy a new one, but I just use it to kind of make my face a little bit more evenly toned. I like to use this brow glue for my brows. I had no eyebrows for a really long time because my hair was super light, and so I feel like whenever my brows are too dark, I get scared. I'm like too worried about them being a little bit too intense, so this is just a nice way to kind of fill them in and shape them a little bit. Next, I just do a little bit of contour. I use the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I bought this actually 2 years ago, and this is the original bottle, so this thing has lasted me a really long time. It's probably rotted, but I do think it's really good. It honestly is super light. It blends into my skin really nice. So okay, next I do my concealer. I like the Tarte one a lot, but I actually mix it with this Nude Sticks one just because I like it to be a little bit thinner. I just think it's an easier consistency to spread on my face. Recently, I've also started putting my makeup, like my foundation and concealers, on my hand because I found that if you warm it up, it makes it a lot easier to use, which it's like common knowledge, I feel, for makeup, but I didn't know that until pretty recently. And then I just use my finger. I put it right under my eye, and then I kind of like to guide it up. It's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so I think it gives me a nice little lift. And then I just put the rest on whatever blemishes I have on my face. Okay, now I'm gonna do my powder. All of my makeup, I end up like cleaning my brushes up on it, so everything is a little bit crusty. But I also like to use this little triangle powder puff, and I just press it right on the corner of my eye. Basically the same spots where I put the concealer. And I like to just let this sit. And I'll put a little bit right here. Okay, now I'm gonna blend it out. I've started using a wet beauty blender, and I feel like it works so much better for me. I think that it just sets it in so much easier. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna do a little blush. I've been using this lighter shade of blush from Kaleidos. Blush is another thing, like my brows, where I'm really scared of doing too much, and I honestly think it's because, in my opinion, I wore too much blush in too small of spaces. I really packed it on there for a long time. So I think that I'm a little bit traumatized. But I like to do just a little bit and kind of build it up towards my face. Because you can always add more. It's really hard to take it off. I also always put a little bit on my nose and on my chin. I don't know. I started doing it because I saw someone else doing it. And I actually, I can't stop. I feel like my blush is not complete without it. Okay, now I'm going to spray it down. I use this NYX glue spray, but I think that also I really enjoy the dewy ones. This one is nice, but sometimes it dries a little bit too matte for me. I really wish I had one of those big paper fans. I feel like that would make it so much easier. This always takes so long. Okay, here's the base. And now for the fun part. Before I do anything, I always add a fine layer of glitter to my face just because I like to have it on these base spots. So I always put it right on my eye. And then I'll put it right on my brow bone. And then I like to take a lot and kind of guide it up my cheekbone. It feels very fairy. And then I put some on my nose. I like to put it on my eye and also dragging off of my eye. Literally just anywhere that there's not glitter on your face. Just go ahead and put some on there. I do feel like glitter is the easiest and quickest way to make a look seem so much more complicated than it is. Because anytime I see anybody covered in glitter, it's like, wow, you're doing something exceptional right now, to me. So I feel like glitter's always a must. This one is from Shall We? I use the pink one. I think it's cute. I put it on top of the white one. It may not make sense, but I do think that I like the colors layered together. Okay, they're done. The biggest thing that I learned doing eyeliner is that sometimes it's not going to be perfect. And a lot of times I feel like I am more content with how my makeup looks when my wings are not exactly matching than when I smudge it off and try and redo it 12 times. So sometimes you got to stick with what you got. I always like to use a wet liner. I think it is 100 times easier for me, and I really didn't do a lot of graphic liner looks until I had this because it was just really, really hard. I have a really shaky hand. But I take a little bit on my brush, and I like to drag it out from the corner of my eye, right here. And then I almost guide it back up. Ooh, I always have so much adrenaline when I do this on camera. It's so scary. But I'll just fill it in. Drag it up to my liking. And then I like to also take it down right here. And you can clean that up, but okay, now it's time to do my favorite part. We're gonna do the stars. So I always like to do like some sort of map or some sort of stencil for where I want it. So let me show you. It doesn't have to look cute, but I like to put that there just so when I do the other star, I know exactly where it's going to be. I feel like the star is a lot of muscle memory, but this is the easiest way to do it. I get a little tiny bit of eyeliner on my brush, and I like to make a little point and then drag down to connect it. So look. This is so nerve-wracking. I just like to extend it so that way I'm literally not breathing. This is so stressful. I like to extend it so that way I have some space to fill it in. And now you have some cutesy little stars. I really think that if you do this, if you practice drawing the stars on your face once a day for 1 month, you will be able to do it with your eyes closed. Like, it becomes muscle memory so fast. I think this is really cute, but I want to add a little bit more color, so I'm going to be using this shade from my Kaleidos palette. I don't know why it's so squeaky. I'm just going to put a little bit on my under eye. Okay, now I'm going to do my lashes. I really feel like these changed everything, so I really feel like the lashes just make a world of a difference. Okay, this is my favorite lip as of recent. I think it's so quick and easy. I use the Ulta Weightless Water Tint, and honestly I do like to outline my lips a little bit because I think this tint does a really good job at just looking pretty normal. This is my favorite lip gloss. This is from Rude Cosmetics, and it's their Brown Berry lip gloss. As you can see, I've loved it very, very much. But for the past couple weeks, I've been trying to use whatever scraps I have left. This is the final look. It's something really simple, but honestly, it's my go-to. I think it's so fun. I think it's so cute. And I really do think it's perfect for any occasion. I love you guys so much, and I hope this helped. And thank you so much for watching.